Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's a house!
What's going on, everybody? Whoa! It's not as dark in here this time. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not quite as dark. Alright. Well, hope you guys saw some of the videos from today. Or the video. Hey, thanks Pam from New York. Gifted a membership to MS2 Lovely. Alright. Yeah, so I got a whole bunch of stuff to go over. You know, there's information out there. There's some sort of more of a narrative from what Dylan Mortenson said, and then there's a whole DNA thing about like maybe some DNA underneath underneath Madison Mogan's fingernails. So that might be kind of interesting to take a look at. Hope your audio is good. Turn it up. What does that even mean, Lisa? Yeah, maybe it's too low or something. I can always fix it. But type a better sentence that's more legible than that. Let me see if I can... Yeah, it always affects... yeah, look at that. So there we go. How about that? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they must have set it up where... I mean, I don't know what happens. Some app shoots down the audio level. Don't know what it is. Thank you, Julia Morales. And yes, if you guys are out there and you can support the channel with coffees or super chats or whatever, leave a message on the screen. We can go over the question. You know, yesterday was kind of a struggle. So if we can maybe try to do a little bit better today, that'd be great. Now you wonder why I'm saying that. Is because on my channel I donate a lot of money to charity. In fact, we've donated $233,500 since January of 2020. So I actively try to raise funds to keep my channel going and be able to continue to fund things like our DNA fund, where we have we've put over like right around $100,000 into it. And then we have 2 scholarship funds where we put $6,000 last year and $6,000 this year. And we're already building up on our 3rd batch of scholarships to students in the criminal justice world. So the only way that happens is if you guys are supporting the channel on a daily basis. Instead of having me constantly say, hey everybody, if you could help support the channel, that you just realize that that's what we do on this channel, okay? All right, thank you. Let's see. All right, so there were some things I was working on. I might make a video regarding this, but let's see. Yeah, it's amazing, but the only way to keep it going is if the people who think it's amazing are supporting the channel. All right, here we go. Yeah, so you guys, this is the, I have a still frame from 1:56 in the evening that night. Okay, and it's kind of cool. I think it's interesting what I did. I just want to show you guys. So I use my 3D model of the 2015 Elantra. Okay, and I put it into the scene. But let me just get rid of everything but the lower image. All right, so this image right here is 156. That happens to be the same. I think there's a vehicle right here, and then there's another vehicle parked next to it. And it could be that there's a vehicle here. There's people that are like, oh my God, at the 420, there's this other light. And the other light is shining off of another car that's parked here. Because I've actually seen video from earlier in the evening where a car drives by and it shines a light off of another vehicle that's parked right here. So it's not like another vehicle driving right there. Right, if they can. Right. Let's see. So what I did is let's just take this one off. So here's their vehicle right here, and in my program 3D Studio Max, I took a map of the above, right? And then I put a camera right next to where on the building there would be a camera. And then on the street where the Elantra was, I put this car actually drove over on the left-hand side of the road. It wasn't on this side. So I put the car right there, and then when you look through the camera here, that looks like pretty close to the same angle right there. All I can do is just estimate it, and then you raise the camera up higher because the street starts raising a little bit, plus it's up in a parking lot and then up a little bit. So it's kind of looking down at it. And let's see, how do I have this? Alright, so what I did was I placed the car in there, and then I took part of this that's here and made another layer so I can put the Elantra, the 3D model, behind it, just like the actual car is in the surveillance footage. So if you look at it like that, watch this. Okay, not that one, this one right here. Look at that. I mean, my God. You know what? So the thing is, this car back here, it's really pixelated and distorted a little bit, but even with that, you can tell that white Elantra, look at that, it just fits right in there. The window's the same, the back window. It's just a little bit distorted. You see that line too, the molded line that sticks out right here. It matches. And then, amazingly, there's this little curve that goes right there that actually could be what we're seeing in, like right back here. See that? Alright, so there you go. And this one, I don't have lights on the vehicle that I'm using, so it's not blowing it out. But that's basically what it looks like. And the fact that it's moving is what's distorted the windows. I mean, look how kind of scraggly that is and over here. And the lines aren't totally solid or anything. Alright, so hopefully you guys found that interesting. I think the way I did it was pretty accurate, you know. Put a camera up in the air at the same exact angle, and then I had to scale the car into the scene because, you know, that's one of the things I don't have is the ability to like the camera makes a difference, you know. Well, it all makes a difference. I'm just placing it in there at the same size, and there it is. So to me, it is his you know, it is the white Elantra, okay? There's no doubt about it in my mind. 100%. Yeah. But we're currently, right now, you guys, at $1.99. Is there any chance that as a channel we can try to reach the goal tonight so we can continue on for the month? That would be awesome. Okay. We got the, I'm going to do the Dylan Mortenson. See, these documents, it's totally different now on the website. Let me show you guys what this looks like now. Right here. See this? The website that has the cases looks like this now, and it looks like this. It's totally different. They just changed it, and that's why all these documents started popping up. All right, Alley Cake's trying for a wave, everybody. Let's get going.
Ocean wave, heart.
You guys know what we do here. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not really... I mean, it's cool that they put everything new at the top, I guess. You mean the update to the website? Hey, thank you so much, Pam from New York. All right. And by the way, if you send in $5 or more, you get put into a spin. At the end of the show, you win the notebook, the stress ball, the pen, and the poker chip, unless you're GSU PM, where, you know, she's already won it like twice. So I got to give her something else. Hey, thanks, Midwest. All right. So there's going to be some reading here, but I hope you guys stick around. I hate this thing comes now, you know. Like that idiot Greeno's out there putting out his little, yeah, I'd like to have these documents and this document. It's just, come on.
Chewbacca?
Hey, thanks, GSUPN and Cheryl.
XOXOXO.
All right, comes now Brian Koberger. By and through his attorneys of record and pursuant to the Idaho Rules of Evidence, moves this honorable court for an order in limine to excluding any evidence referencing bushy eyebrows. See, the thing is Ann Taylor knows how damning a lot of the stuff that's happened is, so she's trying to find little creative but almost idiotic ways to try to get rid of the evidence.
Thank you for all your work.
Hey, thanks so much, Mamasaurus Bear. Mamasaurus Bear. And Maureen. All right, you guys, thanks for getting us a start to tonight. Awesome. Very cool. All right, the issue of witness identification is a critical one in the trial that is the subject of much litigation. That is because the reliability of witness identification is the linchpin in determining the admissibility of identification information. State versus Hosington. Failure to challenge unreliable witness identification can result in finding that trial counsel's performance was deficient. So she's making excuses, saying, I'm filing this because I don't want to be deemed inefficient counsel, so I'm just throwing it out here, just throwing it at the wind and hoping that you'll rule in my favor, but if you don't, at least I did my due diligence. Failure to challenge unreliable witness. I just read that part. In this case, the description provided by Dylan Mortenson is unreliable and should be excluded. Although she has never identified Mr. Koberger, testimony by Dylan Mortenson from the witness stand describing bushy eyebrows while Mr. Koberger sits. Well, what they need to do is show a picture of Koberger before. Is his eyebrows have slowly diminished in size. Have you guys noticed that? It reminds me of my sister-in-law who worked at a restaurant called Rose's, and she'd bring home this cake, like a nice big 3-inch thick slice of chocolate cake, best cake you've ever had in your life. And she'd put it in the freezer, and she'd say, Gray, don't eat any of this. And the next day it's still sitting in the freezer. So I take it out, and I slice the thinnest looking slice off of that sucker, and I eat it. Then I put it back in the freezer. Then the next day, I take the thinnest little slice off of it and eat it. And after about 7 or 8 days of that damn piece of cake is a hell of a lot smaller than it originally was. And I think that's kind of what Koberger's been doing with his eyebrows. Just a little. He didn't want to make it look too dramatic, so he just started taking a little off here and a little off there, and eventually it. What is this? God, this is crazy. So I guess now there's AI just sort of shows up in your PDF software, Acrobat. Yeah, so that's what he's doing. And I remember it was funny because then my sister-in-law would go, she'd finally get to the cake and go, where is it? And I really couldn't make excuses at that point because it was literally like a third of the original size after daily slices. But I'm also thinking, why the hell wouldn't you eat that the first day that was in the freezer, right? It's ridiculous. Who the hell puts a piece of cake in a freezer and lets it sit there for... Because I don't like Max Smith. Why don't you do your own shows? You know what I mean? All right, here it comes. The issue of witness identification is a critical one in a trial that is subject... And we already got to that point where we are. They're saying that she's unreliable. And she sits, Mr. Koberger sits as he accused a trial. Let me just read the sentence back here. In this case, the description provided by Dylan Mortenson is unreliable and should be excluded. Although she has never identified Mr. Koberger, testimony by Dylan Mortenson from the witness stand describing bushy eyebrows while Mr. Koberger sits at the accused at trial, as the accused at trial, will be damning as her pointing to him and saying, he's the man that did this. Well, I don't know if she's going to say that. I mean, she would never do that. They would never have Dylan Mortenson point to Koberger and say, that's the guy that did it, because she doesn't recognize him other than bushy eyebrows. All you would be able to do is she'd say, yeah, the person had bushy eyebrows. Then the jury would look over to Koberger and go, damn, those are bushy. And then maybe the defense, the prosecution at that time, if Koberger's been shaving down his eyebrows, might come up with and say, now here's a picture of Koberger on his driver's license. Did his eyebrows look sort of like this? And she might say, yeah, a little bit like, you know, they did look like that. Something like that, right? Yeah. When considering whether identification by witnesses is reliable, the Idaho Supreme Court has applied the Manson-Biggers balance test, which looks at the opportunity of the witness to view the criminal at the time of the crime, 2, the witness' degree of attention, 3, the accuracy of the witness' prior description of the criminal, number 4, level of certainty demonstrated at the identification, and 5, the length of time between the crime and the identification. Let's see. And then when the Mason-Biggers balance test is applied to the facts of this case, the reliability of the witness, Dylan Mortenson, identification is non-existent. Dylan Mortenson is the only person alive who is known to have seen the intruder. You mean Brian Koberger. She only saw the intruder briefly. Her recollection, or lack thereof, is filled with uncertainty, fuzziness, the influence of alcohol, dreaming, and sleepiness. She did not see the intruder well enough to describe him to a composite artist. Right, because he had a balaclava on. Why don't you try it? After Mr. Koberger was arrested, she did not recognize him from a photo. Right, because, again, he had a balaclava on. See, this is the kind of stuff the judge, when he's reading it, just goes, he does this. He's like, what are you talking about? He had a balaclava on. He did see his eyebrows, though. Interviews on November 13, 2022. On November 13, 2022, Dylan Mortenson was inside the house when the murders occurred and saw a figure dressed in black. When she peeked out of her bedroom door, and see, here's the thing. Somebody in the comments section under my last video said, Gray, Dylan Mortenson said he saw the person at 4 o'clock, so it cannot be Koberger, because if his car would have been there at like 4:08. But I said, no, it doesn't say that, okay? It says around 4 a.m., okay? That means, you know, there's a huge time range there, you guys. It's not like it's something where you just go, if she says around 4, it's exactly 4 o'clock. Shortly after seeing the intruder, she went downstairs to Bethany Funk's room. So that's interesting. We haven't heard that. So shortly after seeing the intruder, so that means when the intruder went in and passed her in the hallway, likely at 4:17, she went down to Bethany Funk's room. The two girls fell asleep. Wow, so that's something totally new that we did not know. That she actually went down to Bethany Funk's room and fell asleep. And then roughly 8 hours later, a 911... So now it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? A little bit better sense. Because after that, she felt like, God, there was a lot of noise and stuff, and didn't check on anybody, and just went downstairs and went to sleep. You know, didn't want to interfere with people. And she goes downstairs, and she goes downstairs, and then they actually end up going to sleep. And then 8 hours later, a 911 call was made from Bethany's phone at 11:56 a.m. So it was Bethany's phone. A lot of people were saying it was Dylan Mortenson's phone. You know, and it's funny because it would have been dark inside the house, so you wouldn't, if you look down the hall, I doubt anybody would look down, you know, even if you look down the hall, you're not going to see anything. So she just would have went straight to the steps and went downstairs. And again, like I always say, she doesn't want to see. Okay? She doesn't want to see. But you guys, let's not have the lulls tonight, so we can move, you know, try to get to the goal earlier in the show so that the stress level doesn't keep peaking up. Is that okay? Would you guys be able to do that for me tonight? Thank you very much. The two girls fell asleep. Roughly 8 hours later, a 911 call was made from Bethany's phone at 11:56 a.m. Nunez, and then more than 8 hours after seeing the intruder, Dylan Mortenson was interviewed by law enforcement. So more than 8 hours after seeing the intruder, Dylan Mortenson was interviewed by law enforcement at the scene and at the police department. It was confusing to Dylan Mortenson that the intruder looked at her but did not come towards her or say anything. So that is kind of interesting. If she really believes that he saw her, maybe he's just like, I gotta get the hell out of here. When describing the intruder to Officer Nunez at the scene, and then she described the height, build, and clothing of the intruder. Page 20, etc. Her description did not... We don't have these things, so it doesn't matter what page things are on. Her description did not mention eyebrows. When she called Bethany before going downstairs to Bethany's room, so this must have been right around like 4:20 or something, Dylan Mortenson said that she was kind of in and out of it. I was really tired. Later, when she was interviewed at the police department, Detective Mallory inquired about facial features and asked Dylan Mortenson if she knew what color the intruder's eyebrows were. And I mean, I don't know how you're going to see that in the dark. Exhibit 3, Mallory interview transcript. She did not know the color of the intruder's eyebrows. Everything was kind of blurry. I don't fully remember. During the Mallory interview, Dylan Mortenson again mentioned... Let's see, where am I at? Again mentioned that she was in and out of it because she was so tired. And then law enforcement pictures of Dylan Mortenson's room on November 13th, 2022 and November 19th, 2022. On the walls in her room were many pictures. So it says right here, pictures on November 13th, 2022. Law enforcement took pictures of Dylan Mortenson's room on November 13th and November 19th. On the walls in her room were many pictures of eyes with prominent eyebrows. Oh, jeez, here we go. Many of which she had drawn. Some of the eyebrows are heavy, voluminous, puffy, or perhaps subjectively bushy. Motion in limine 7. I bet they're just nicely smooth, large eyebrows. They're not bushy or anything like that. But they want to say that. I guess nobody heard me, Alley Cake, but thank you. According to Detective Lake, he found artwork of human figures with emphasis upon the eyes and eyebrows were pinned to corkboards. Okay. Interview on November 17, 2022. On November 17, 2022, 4 days later, Dylan Mortenson was interviewed by Detective Gooch and indicated she was really asleep and probably very drunk when she woke up around 4 a.m. on November 13, 2022. Throughout the interview, Dylan Mortenson expressed uncertainty about what she had heard and saw and did not know if it was real or if it was a dream or if her mind was playing with her. It just doesn't make sense. Dylan Mortenson described the intruder and told Detective Gooch that she recalls seeing his eyebrows, his bushy eyebrows, but she did not recall the color of the eyebrows. She did not remember the eyes or the mouth, just the eyebrows. Now this is where the judge is rolling his eyes because we already know that it was a balaclava. When she saw the intruder, she thought that the intruder was about 3 feet away from her, but that could be off since she was still a little bit drunk. Every time I move it, there's so much crap on the screen, these little numbers and shit. Color of the eyebrows. She did not remember the eyes or the mouth, just the eyebrows. When she saw the intruder, she thought that the intruder was 3 feet away. She did not think that she could remember enough to give composite for a composite artist. She could just recall the bushy eyebrows, but not the shape or color of them. In this interview, Detective Gooch asked if Dylan Mortenson had anxiety, which led to Dylan Mortenson stating that she had a lot of lucid dreams of being kidnapped or chased. She indicated that she watched Criminal Minds and fell asleep to crime podcasts. And then these lucid dreams began in high school. And it says, interview on December 1st, 2022. On December 1st, the only thing that Dylan Mortenson provides of any interest at all is the bushy eyebrow comment. That's it. All right. Other than that, she's not valuable of any kind, other than sort of giving a general time frame when weird sounds were heard. But you've got the vehicle driving around, stopping at 408 and driving away at a high rate of speed at 420, and you have, then Xana Kernodle was awake, ordering DoorDash, still using TikTok, or whatever it was. I think it was TikTok, I don't know. But she's awake. And then they all die, and they die between 4:08 and 4:20. So that's when, so the thing is while she sort of helps go, it was right around 4 o'clock, that's it. And the bushy eyebrows, but the bushy eyebrow comment, while it's mildly helpful, the DNA on the knife sheath places him inside the house. So it doesn't even matter, really. If Dylan Mortenson didn't exist, let's just say she had been killed too, this would all be the same thing. There would have been DNA on the knife sheath. It would have led to Kohberger, and the sounds on the camera over there, a thud, somebody whimpering, you'd still hear all that, etc. Yeah, Dylan Mortenson has nothing to do with it, you guys. So let me just tell you this: if you're out there watching the low-life YouTube channels, and I'm going to tell you that they are piles of shit, and every single day they're sitting there selling to you that Dylan Mortenson did this, and this person did this, and this. Look over here, look over here, look over here. They are selling you a bill of goods, and I know you guys are loyal to those people because they've been lying to you the whole time. Okay, nothing they've been telling you is the truth about this case. The truth is Brian Kohberger is 100% the killer. There's going to be a trial, and he'll be found guilty. All right. And if he's not found guilty, they'll never investigate the case again. That's just the way it is. They got the right guy here. And you don't have to believe it. I'm just telling you that is going to be the reality. All right, so we need to get some more channel memberships, you guys. There's only one new channel membership tonight. 0 coffees again. You know, I've just went a minute ago and I explained to you what we do on this channel. My channel relies on the generosity of the people watching for these live streams. There is no ad revenue on the live streams. Even if you, at the best, you might make $5. There is none. Okay? So it comes down to, if you like the live streams for 3 hours and you like the videos, etc., I need the support from the people watching the shows while I'm doing them, and that allows us also to make a huge difference in the true crime community. We've given over $20,000 to Texas EquiSearch, over $20,000 to RAIN, which is violence against women, over $20,000 to NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We just gave them $500 a couple days ago, and that's it. Okay? So I need your guys' support. If you have the ability to, I would appreciate it. And I think my work deserves the support from the people more than almost any other person covering this case. All right? If you like the trash, and go over there, and you can go support them all day long, all you want, and you'll never be right. When it's all said and done, you're going to be embarrassed. This is a place to go if you want real information. So if you're out there and you can support, I would appreciate it. Okay? Just hate having to, you know, the part I don't like is having to always keep asking. It's a soul crushing, you guys. So I'd love it if you guys would just realize that that's what we do over here and you support the channel. Okay? I feel like I'm worthy of the support for all the things that we do and how I cover cases. All right? Thank you. Let's see. I could just see like an eyebrow. Dylan Mortenson was interviewed again and described the intruder. She did not see his eyes, but she saw one eyebrow, or two. But it was just like this bushy eyebrow. I could just see, yeah, because he came in and at an angle, so that means she could see his left eyebrow. One eyebrow or two, but it was just like this bushy eyebrow. I could just see like an eyebrow, this bushy eyebrow. She did not remember the color or the shape of the eyebrow. She just remembered it being bushy. She did not remember if she saw one eyebrow. Throughout the interview, Dylan Mortenson indicated that she had always had really bad dreams, lucid dreams, and scary dreams. She did not know what part of her recollection were dreams and what parts were real. Hey, thanks. Hey, you got your notebooks. Sweet.
Hi, Grant. I got the notebook. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And thank you for that. And also to Justin on Buy Me a Coffee. All right. When she woke up that morning, she did not fully understand what was a dream or not. In this interview, she indicated that she thought that the person she saw was a fireman. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe that was the pot that she smoked. No, they're not, Winnie, 40SW. See, it's people like you that are embarrassing to the true crime community. Okay, the murderers are not dealers, and the parents of the kid. Can you just remove comments like that? I don't care if they want to, if somebody disagrees with something, but when they put in totally slanderous BS like that, just get rid of it. And I don't know where the mods are, but you need to get up there and remove comments like that. On December 29, 2022, a statement submitted by law enforcement in support of the arrest warrant used descriptive information from Dylan Mortenson's interviews. Dylan Mortenson described the figure as 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. On December 30th, 2022, after the arrest of Mr. Koberger, Dylan Mortenson was interviewed by Detective Tolson. When she learned that an arrest had been made, she found a mugshot of Mr. Koberger online. When asked if Mr. Koberger was the person that she saw in the house, she did not know if Mr. Koberger was the intruder. Right, how would she? See, again, the judge is just going to go, yeah, well, he had a mask on. She knew that the intruder had looked at her because of the bushy eyebrow. All that she remembered is some bushy eyebrow and all black and some sort of mask. Oh, there you go. Subsequently, Dylan Mortenson provided grand jury testimony that was questioned about what the intruder was wearing. She was again uncertain, and that testimony is attached but not quoted verbatim here. Let's see. Dylan Mortenson peeked out of peeked out her bedroom 3 times after 4 a.m. on November 13, 2022. The third time, she saw a figure dressed in black. At the scene, she described the intruder as, he was a little bit taller than me, and I couldn't really see much of him, but I'm almost positive he was wearing a full black outfit, and he had his mask that was just over his forehead and over his mouth, and he didn't say anything to me at all. See motion in limine 7, Exhibit 2, Nunez body cam transcript. At the police department, her description of the intruder was similar. And then I opened the door again, and the guy is right there. And he's maybe, so that's probably right around 417-ish, maybe 418 maybe. He's wearing this mask that covers just his forehead. All right, hold on. At the police department, her description of the intruder was similar. And then I open the door again, and the guy is right there. And he's maybe my height, a few inches taller, not like skinny, athletic build. He has all, he has all black. He's wearing this mask that covers his forehead, and here, and it goes like around. He was white. There was no lights on the stairs. Dylan Mortenson was uncertain whether either the kitchen light or the bathroom light was on. The kitchen light might have been on, but the twinkle lights in the living room may have been on. Yeah, so the twinkle lights are probably that little, like little Christmassy kind of lights, Wow, that's crazy though. So at the police department, her description of the intruder was similar. And then I opened the door again, and the guy is right there. And he's maybe my height, a few inches taller, not like skinny, athletic build. He has all black. He's wearing this mask that covers just his forehead and here, and probably pointing that there's the chin part, and it goes like around. He was white, so that's a balaclava. There were no lights in the stairs. Dylan Mortenson was uncertain whether either the kitchen light or the bathroom light was on. The kitchen light might have been on, but the twinkle lights in the living room may have been on. Mortenson acknowledged that her brain might have been fuzzy due to alcohol and sleepiness. When she saw the intruder, I don't know, I bet you she's pretty awake at that point. That's what I would think. Like, she's just, to go out your door 3 times, I don't know if you're incredibly sleepy at that moment. So they're going through the little portions like opportunity to view and degree of attention. Mortenson acknowledged that her brain might have been fuzzy. Hey, thanks for gifting a membership, Rebecca, to Amy Celeste. Haven't seen her in a long time. Appreciate it. Living room may have been on. And so, degree of attention. Mortenson acknowledged that her brain might have been fuzzy due to alcohol and sleepiness when she saw the intruder. She stated that she had been drinking alcohol just hours prior to peeking out her bedroom door sometime around 4 a.m. and seeing an intruder. She was intoxicated when she arrived home at 1:15 to 1:30ish. She was probably very drunk and tired when she saw the intruder at 4 a.m. So now they're saying at 4 a.m., but it's around 4 a.m., and that's not her. It's not a quote there. When asked if she could see the intruder's face, she testified that, I wouldn't say I fully remember their face, but I remember seeing his eyebrows. So at some point I probably did see his face and don't remember it. During the interview, she said that he was wearing a mask. Level of certainty. During each interview, Dylan Mortenson was uncertain. This is number 3 was the accuracy, was when asked if she could see the intruder's face, she testified, I wouldn't say I fully remember their face, but I remember seeing his eyebrows, so at some point I probably see his face and don't remember it. And then it's during other interviews, she said he was wearing a mask. Level of certainty. During each interview, Dylan Mortenson was uncertain. On December 30th, 2022, after the arrest of Mr. Koberger, Dylan Mortenson was interviewed by Detective Lake and Detective Tolson. When she learned that an arrest had been made, she found a mugshot of Mr. Koberger online. When asked if Mr. Koberger was the person that she saw in the house, she did not know if Mr. Koberger was the intruder. She knew that the man had looked at her because of the bushy eyebrow. All that she remembered is some bushy eyebrow and all black and some sort of mask. Several weeks after the murders, Dylan Mortenson thought that the person she saw was a fireman. So several weeks later, okay? And maybe it is what Cindy typed in up there, maybe when he said, hey, I'm here to help you, and she thought maybe that's who that was. I don't think she thought he looked like one. And why would you be wearing a mask? The person she saw was a fireman. In her mind, Dylan Mortenson thought that the intruder went out the back sliding door, but she didn't know if he actually went out the door. Yeah, she just saw him heading towards the kitchen. The sliding black back door was not visible from the doorway of Dylan Mortenson's bedroom. See, this is what people say when they actually know their person's the killer. Why do you even care about that? About going out the sliding glass door? What relevance does it have to you? You know, you got to ask yourself, what does this have to do with anything regarding Koberger and a strategy? You know, she couldn't see him go out the back door. How does she know? Well, he was heading to the kitchen. She probably, as he passed, he turned to the right and went down the kitchen. You know, if you've been watching my videos, you understand the layout really well. So he must have turned to the right. Yeah, I don't know. I've given up alley cake. I don't know. I'm not sure what to say anymore. It's just... Let's see. In her mind, Dylan Mortenson thought, but it's like, he did go out. The sliding glass door was open, okay? The sliding back door was not visible from the doorway, so I'm not sure why you're trying to argue this point here. Time between event and identification. At approximately 4 a.m., because a killer was in the house, and they left through the sliding glass door, so why do you care if she... So you want it to be that the person with bushy eyebrows that matches your client didn't go out the door, but stayed around and partied for a while, and then some other killer came in and went out the sliding glass door? Roughly 8 hours later, the 911 call was made. More than 8 hours after seeing the intruder, Dylan Mortenson provided a very limited and uncertain description of the intruder of 2 different officers. And that says on November 17, 2022, 4 days later, Dylan Mortenson did not think that she could sufficiently describe the intruder for a composite artist. Right, that's hard to do when you only see their eyebrows and they've got a balaclava on. On December 30th, 2022, after Mr. Koberger's arrest, Dylan Mortenson could not recognize Mr. Koberger from a lineup, or just a photo. Further, by the time that Dylan Mortenson testified at trial later this year, more than 3.5 years will have passed since the murders occurred on November 13th, 2022. With certain exceptions, every person is competent to be a witness. Incompetency determined by the court occurs when persons whom the court finds are incapable of receiving just impressions of the facts about which they are examined, or of relating them accurately. Idaho law tends to favor the finding of competency. A witness must have sufficient personal knowledge of the matter to which he or she is testifying. I don't know. I don't really want to go through these arguments down here. Let me see. When considering whether identification by a witness reliable, the Idaho Supreme Court has applied the Manson-Biggers balancing test, which looks at the opportunity of the witness to view the criminal at the time of the crime, the witness degree of attention, the accuracy of the witness prior description of the criminal, the level of certainty demonstrated at the identification, and the length of time between the crime. As explained in the detail above, Dylan Mortenson's opportunity to view was seconds at most. Her attention was influenced by alcohol and sleepiness, and the only identifying attributes are height and relation to her own, a skinny, athletic build, and a bushy eyebrow. He was wearing a mask. She was repeatedly, each time interviewed, expressed uncertainty about what she saw. These granted descriptions could fit millions of individuals. Her uncertainty, how many of those people's DNA was on the knife sheath? Her uncertainty is repeated in each interview, and at least 8 hours passed before she interviewed the first time. 6 weeks passed before she was interviewed by law enforcement the final time, and 6 months passed when she testified before the grand jury. Balancing the Manson-Biggers factor, there is no reliability of the physical characteristics that Dylan Mortenson has reported. Mr. Koberger does not have bushy eyebrows, but the artwork on what do you mean he doesn't have bushy eyebrows? Right, because they're bushy as hell, man. You know they are, right? That's crazy. Look at that. Mr. Koberger does not have bushy eyebrows, but the artwork on Dylan Mortenson's wall, and that which should draws eyes with eyebrows, could be described as bushy, full of prominent. There's a great risk that at trial, in front of a jury, her testimony will be viewed as a clear identification of Mr. Koberger. Now, all she would be doing at trial is testifying that she saw a person with bushy eyebrows and giving his general height, but will not be able to identify him because he had a mask on, but he did have bushy eyebrows. That's it. She's not going to. This is so. Look, Ann Taylor is either dumb or just willfully trying to trick people here, because this is stupid. Mr. Koberger does not have bushy eyebrows? What are you talking about? Maybe not now because you've had them, plucked out or whatever the hell you're doing, but they sure as hell were bushy when he was arrested. 100%. It's ridiculous. Hey, thanks so much, Shanny T. You've restored some hope. Yeah, he's... Okay. Let's go look at it. Brian Koberger, driver's license. Yeah, I mean, how about just this one right here? I mean, let's just use that. Look at that. Those aren't bushy eyebrows, for God's sakes. You gotta be kidding me. Look at those. And then once he saw that the bushy eyebrows were part of it, he kind of started shaving them down a little bit. That's hilarious. Look how different these are. See how there's a little bit less. They're still bushy anyways, but they're not the same. I mean, look at that. See that? Yeah, those are bushy. Okay. But according to Ann Taylor, they're not bushy at all. They're just... She's just having a memory of what was on her wall. There is no reliability of the physical characteristics that Dylan Mortenson has reported. Mr. Koberger does not have bushy eyebrows, but the artworks on Dylan Mortenson's wall and that which should draw... okay, we already read this. There is a great risk that at trial in front of a jury, her testimony will be viewed as a clear identification of Mr. Koberger. This would be a false identification and would prejudice the proceedings in a way that must be avoided. To be admissible, evidence must be relevant. Well, he has bushy eyebrows. If he came in and he was missing a finger, and you said, yeah, he's missing a finger, and all the other elements are exactly the same, you wouldn't allow that in? She observed a bushy eyebrow or eyebrows, whatever. If somebody's missing a finger, you would notice that. That's all she can remember. She cannot point to him and say, that's the person I saw. You're okay there. All she can say is the person she saw, and she said it at the beginning before Koberger was ever arrested, that the person had bushy eyebrows. Okay? Jeez, Ann Taylor. Yeah, she's... To be admissible, evidence must be relevant. Evidence is relevant if it has any tendency to make a fact more or less probable than it would be without the evidence. The fact is of consequence in determining the action. Whether a fact is of consequence or material is determined by its relationship to the legal theories presented by the parties. In this case, evidence of bushy eyebrows is not relevant to the crimes charged. So what? And would not tend to make any material or disputed fact of these crimes charged, in this case, more probable or less probable than it would be without the evidence. But why can't... So you're saying that people can't be witness and say what they saw if it hurts your client, basically. The purpose of admitting such testimony is for identification purposes. Given the argument above, such testimony is inadmissible. There's no other relevant reason to allow this testimony. I mean, I could see the judge sort of, like, yeah, she did. But the thing is he had the balaclava on. That's why she can't point him out in a picture. I think it's totally fair for her to say what she saw, and she said it extemporaneously, right? Like she didn't, it wasn't after Koberger was arrested, she didn't have this memory of, oh yeah, that's right, he had bushy eyebrows. She said that first, and we actually knew it here on my channel before he was arrested, or at least I did. And then when he was arrested, I told everybody, "Hey, do you guys think he has bushy eyebrows?" Because I already knew from a friend, I think it was like a woman who had a friend whose daughter was friends with Dylan Mortenson. And that's what she said. Even assuming this court concludes that the descriptive words bushy eyebrows are somehow relevant, whatever minimal, and by the way, Ann Taylor, if you don't think your client has bushy eyebrows, then why do you care? Isn't that exculpatory for you? She's a liar. Hey, my client doesn't have bushy eyebrows. Dylan Mortenson saw a person with bushy eyebrows. That's exculpatory, you fool. Why don't you want that in there? It's kind of stupid. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I just thought of that. I was like, that's hilarious. What an idiot. You should leave it in there, Ann. You know, come in, bring him in with his eyebrows shaved, for God's sakes, right? Have him shave his eyebrows, and then, yeah, that's actually pretty funny. What an idiot!
You and the Phoenix are 100 the best covering this case.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, just think about that for a second. That's just hilarious. It's like, oh yeah, you got my client does not have bushy eyebrows, so you shouldn't be allow her to do it. But if your client does not have bushy eyebrows, then why did you say above that would be prejudicial? Okay, so you're either lying in this document, or you truly don't believe your client has bushy eyebrows. So you should want Dylan Mortenson to come out there and say he had bushy eyebrows. And then when you look over at your client, which you'll obviously have had his eyebrows plucked, etc., they'll say, "Wow, that's not him." She just, man, she doesn't even. It's the same thing in the Delphi case. They make these arguments, and like they should have used, and for Richard Allen, they should have used the Brad Weber's vehicle driving by later, just to sort of discredit the prosecution's theory, but they didn't do it because they wanted to use it for something else. And then these guys, these defense attorneys, think they're just so clever and smart, and it's embarrassing. Andrew Baldwin, same kind of thing, just garbage. For the reasons addressed above, Mr. Koberger respectfully requests this court grant his motion in limine to exclude Dylan Mortenson from using the words bushy eyebrows, words that would help my client because his eyebrows aren't bushy. But I still don't want her to say it to identify my client, because I in fact believe he does have bushy eyebrows that you saw, and to exclude Dylan Mortenson from identifying Mr. Koberger based on bushy eyebrows. Well, I don't think they're going to allow her to do that. They're not going to allow. See, the thing is, Ann Taylor thinks that this is what the prosecution is going to do. Can you point out the killer? Yes, he's right there. And why do you think he's the killer? Well, because he has bushy eyebrows. That doesn't fly, you guys. That doesn't fly, okay? All she's going to be used for is, can you describe the person? And she'd say bushy eyebrows. And at some point, they'll introduce a picture of Koberger, his driver's license, and maybe some other pictures he has. And the jury will go, oh, shit, those are bushy eyebrows. You don't even have to say it. But she will not be able to point to Koberger and say, yes, that's the person I saw, because he's got bushy eyebrows. Right? And thanks, Wise Child, for that kind comment there in the super chat. And thank you, KME. All right, we got to about 40% now. Yeah, they wouldn't. I know. See, that's what's so stupid about Ann Taylor here. Look at this thing. This is what she's saying. Koberger respectfully requests this court grant his motion in limine to exclude Dylan Mortenson from using the words bushy eyebrows to identify the intruder that she saw. And I would actually say that she should be able to use bushy eyebrows to identify the intruder. But then she goes a step further and says that she saw, and to exclude Dylan Mortenson from identifying Mr. Koberger based on bushy eyebrows. And she won't be allowed to do that already. I mean, that's a given. Like, there's no way in hell the judge would allow that. But she should be able to say the intruder I saw had bushy eyebrows. Absolutely, she should be able to say that. You just can't say the person I saw is Koberger because this person had bushy eyebrows. The prosecution will have to, through circumstantial evidence, photographs, Koberger's DNA on the knife sheath, therefore the bushy eyebrows are his. Right? Hey, thank you so much, Pam from New York. Again, let's make it 50%. Well, we're almost there. We're 50% is 50%. That's pretty close, really. Yeah. I guess that was pretty close. Yeah, we got a bunch of different documents. Okay, so we're done with this one. Epic fail by Ann Taylor. Epic fail. Although, there is some, I mean, Dylan Mortenson is kind of all over the place a little bit. Except it's, what's interesting though? It's the way Ann Taylor does things though. We already know in these other hearings how she intentionally sort of worded things in a way, and I guarantee you guys that in this right here, not this one, all right there, that this vehicle right there that she picked was the worst possible version of that vehicle in that video. And she did the same thing with the 420 time. She picked it.
Ocean Wave.
Pam from New York, Linda Howe, Joel Burt. I sent out 17 of the notebook orders recently. Did you guys get those? Everybody? I hope people got them. Yeah, I think Ann Taylor does the same thing that Andrew Baldwin and those guys do. The new technique of, flooding the jury pool with bullshit. Sorry for cussing, but that's what I feel like. Yeah, it's hard to write really good in there, but I don't have great writing, but you have to put your hand like kind of up in the air because it's against the binder, the little spiral part. I'm right-handed. I wonder what her reaction was when he told her he was stargazing on a who? Oh, and when he told Ann Taylor that? I don't know. Yeah, you'd probably be able to do it then, but except you'd smudge it on the way in if it didn't dry quick enough. And by the way, if you just got here late, watch this. So on the screen right here is I actually purchased this for $70, by the way. This I do everything. I have this, and I also bought a 3D K-bar knife, if you guys can believe that. But look at this. So this is a 2015 White Elantra, and I set it up where I took a map of the overhead, just this area here. This is 1112 King Road. The camera's not in the center, it's off to the right a little bit, so I put it there. Then on the road I matched it up to like this car size, just because it's another sedan, pretty. And then I put it over here. And then through this camera here, that's basically what it looks like coming in. All right? And so without that image on there, it looks like this. That's the original image, and for clarity, kind of just looks like that, right? And so then there's actually this, I have an image, I'll show you, watch. See that? That's actually what's there. See this? The car, there's another car right here, and it looks like that. All right, so I took that, and so that means it actually comes out like this. I can put it on even. Watch, see that? That's what's really there in that image. It's just blown out, things are reflecting, etc. It's just like that. Then you put that there, and then you put back in the vehicle. Look at that. Watch this when I blink it on and off. Look how close that is, you guys. It even see this line right here? That little mold that comes out? Watch how that thing just, it's right on there. And the wheel, everything. But it's just distorted because it's a moving vehicle with slow shutter speed. It's at night. It just, things are off. You can see everything's kind of jaggedy. So this is a white Elantra, you guys. 100%. And I have no doubt at all. And law enforcement knows it's a white Elantra. And it's a white Elantra because it matches what a white Elantra looks like. So they'll be able to determine that it's consistent with a white Elantra. And circumstantially, the fact that the one that's verified to be Koberger's vehicle at 329 is heading in that direction. The same vehicle is picked up on a camera driving by right here. So let's just look at this again. At 329, the vehicle drives by right here. After right here at 328, though, it was driving this direction and missing its front license plate. And then it drives like this and then comes around. But right in this area, this camera at 1125 Ridge Road picked it up going this direction. Then this camera, just exactly when you would expect, like 40 seconds later, shows a white sedan driving by right here at almost let's see, at 3:30. I'm getting the Delphi case in my head. So at 3:30 right there. So it's not this road, it's this one right here, sorry. So this is Linda Lane camera. There's one there and there's a camera there. So it drives by there right around 3:30 and then comes in, and then at 3:31 it drives back behind here. Then it stops over here for 2 or 3 minutes, exits, and then drives this way again. So this camera right here, and there's a website that actually has this video, and they removed every single bit of the relevant time frame. They removed it from 3:30 until 4:05. I mean, it was unbelievable. It's like, come on, you guys. So then it drove by there, and eventually it comes back again, and then at 3:38ish, it comes back here again, and then, you know, we've gone over this 1,000 times. I don't want to keep just doing that part, but in that video that you're seeing, though, at, let's see, so it's 3:56 and some odd seconds. It comes around and it's driving us right there. And then it goes this direction, and then it's picked up on this camera exactly when it should be coming around. And then it goes around here, and then it takes off, and then it comes back again for its final time at 4:05. It comes back here like 4:06, does a 3-point turn there on the screen, then turns around, it comes back, does another 3-point turn right there, comes back this direction at 4:07, and like 40 seconds, 38 seconds is coming around here, and then parks at 4:08. And this camera right here is going to show, this thing has tons of incredibly valuable information, you know, and the fact that it's all in a chain. So you always hear Ann Taylor saying it's not a chain because you can't absolutely identify it. And that's just garbage. Circumstantially, it is the vehicle. Okay? Hey, thanks, Snarky Cinderella. And Lynette Edie's up there. Sorry I missed that. Appreciate it. Got you in the spin up there. And Joel Burnt. Wear blue jumpsuits. Oh man. That's wild. I was just looking something had nothing to do with this, but hey, welcome, Shani T. All right. Yeah, so put a 1 in the chat if you think, you know, when you look at that, tell me if that is consistent with that vehicle. I'm just going to blink it in and on and on. Put a 1 if you think that that white launch right there is consistent with the sort of pixelated, distorted looking. I mean, it is. I think it absolutely, in my opinion, it is. See that? Now, if you're a pro burger, you're not going to admit it. And it's even interesting because see that little part at the back where it kind of does that little darkness? I think that's just shadow from the indentation of the wheel well. Because look at this. Watch this. Look at right in here, you guys. I don't know if you can see it, but let me just randomly move this way over here. Look at right there. There's that little curve of the shadow coming down in there. It's interesting. See how you can see right over there? How it kind of arcs down a little bit? And it looks like it almost comes off of the same molding. It's interesting. All right. Awesome. Oh yeah, let me show you the, so I'm going to save that. Do I have the... Yeah, there's the K-bar. Let's see. File. Open. I'm going to show you guys the K-bar knife. Hey, thanks, Sammy Dave, for gifting a membership to Melissa Ridner. I guess we just, everybody, we've been trying to get GSU PM a membership for a long time, and it just doesn't seem to be able to do it. Okay, there it is. Let's see what happens with the K-bar. Here we go. Ah, shoot. I don't know. It's not going to have any texture on it, but there is texture. So, you know, I have to take this thing and let's see if I group it, ungroup it. And if you look at it, I mean, that's right where the DNA was found on the button snap there. This thing's upside down, so it's got to be blade, handle, so make that the child of that, then the sheath, fasteners, then handle, then rotate it. No, that's not going to work. Do 180 down, and then probably more like right there. Now the leather back here is all messed up though. But anyways, that's what it was, and it's got all the textures to it where it's leather. It's exactly the same. It's an absolute K-bar knife, but you know, at least I can put it in the scene and then also have the sheath on a bed or something like that. All right. And make a whole movie, yeah. Tips to get. Oh yeah, I got a coffee from someone. It just says someone. And then Justin did a coffee. So don't forget about the coffees. We've got, how many memberships do we have? Got 5 memberships. We're currently still just a little bit above half. So if you're out there and you have the ability to help support my channel, I would appreciate it. Yeah, well that cost, spent $49 on the 3D knife sheath and $70 on the White Elantra. So tonight's show hasn't even made up that portion. You'd think it would have been easy, but nope. Let's see. We've got, so we did that one, and then this is the something about, I want to get to the one that has Dylan Mortenson in it. I mean, Madison Mogan. Was it this one? Yeah, that's the one. Right here. Comes now Brian Koberger. By and through his attorneys of record, and hereby moves the court for an order limiting testimony about the statistical analysis of item Q13.1 fingernail scrapings. Allowing such testimony would violate Mr. Koberger's federal and state constitutional rights to due process, a fair trial, effective assistance of counsel, and confrontation of witnesses. This motion is based on the 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution, Idaho motion in limine regarding inconclusive data. Constitution Article 1, Section 13 in Idaho Criminal Rule 16 in Idaho Rule of Evidence 102, 104, 701, 702, and 703. The requested limits are made to secure fairness in administration to the end the truth may be ascertained and proceeded. I don't even give a shit about this. Let me just go down here. In grand jury testimony, Jade Miller testified as to the results of testing done on item Q13.1, a swab of the left fingernail clippings from Madison Mogan. The data consisted of 3-person mixture. The statistics, the likelihood ratio, so likelihood ratio was calculated assuming that Madison Mogan was a contributor to her own fingernails. Miller testified that Madison Mogan as followed, and we don't get to see whatever that was. Yeah, why don't you let us go through it, Chuck? The data from the sample was, let's see, the data from the sample was, as to Mr. Cooper, we don't know. Was like Madison as to, I don't know what they're saying, like they cut it out. Miller testified that inconclusive means that an analyst is, I mean, I'm not sure why you can't put in there what, you know, what an analyst thinks. Miller went on to explain that the likelihood ratio for Mr. Koberger, okay, and it says the use of misleading language confuses, and especially when you blacken it out so we can't read it. The use of misleading language confuses and misleads the finder of fact and is barred by Rules 402, 403, as well as due process in the evidence if the evidence is overly prejudicial. The erroneous admission of irrelevant and prejudicial evidence will offend due process when it renders a trial fundamentally unfair. Here, expanding beyond the language of the report would prejudice Mr. Koberger in that it might allow the jury to infer that the inconclusive data would mean that he might be included. LRs are different. Let's see. I forgot what LR stood for up there. The likelihood ratio. Here, expanding beyond the language of the report would prejudice Mr. Koberger in that it might allow the jury to infer that the inconclusive data would mean that he might be included. Likelihood ratios are different from traditional statistics that courts and juries are used to seeing and hearing. The likelihood ratio is a comparison of hypothesis. It is not a statement of identity or probability of identity. It simply asks the question, given the data, which hypothesis tested is more likely? For item Q13.1, both hypotheses tested for each individual assumed that Madison Mogen's DNA was present. So when the lab generated the likelihood ratio laid out above, the hypothesis tested were Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonzalez, and one unknown unrelated person versus Madison Mogen and two unrelated persons. This comparison was done for all of the individuals listed in report number 7 and for Mr. Koberger in report number 26. As the ISP lab, any number greater than 100 is considered a conclusive result indicating inclusion. So if it's 100, that means it is in there. Any number less than 0.01 is considered a conclusive result indicating exclusion. So if it's like 0.01, that means you're not in the mixture. Thus, if an likelihood ratio falls within the range of 0.01 to 100, the lab cannot draw any conclusions and the data is reported as inconclusive. Right, so if it's 87, it is inconclusive. Or like 0.87, I mean, or whatever, however they number it. In her testimony, Miller did not provide a full context to the analysis. The lab reported a series of likelihood ratios for items 13. You know what's weird, though? We're listening to how Ann Taylor's explaining this. And I don't have any confidence that she's explaining something the way it really is because of how poorly she did in the DNA analysis. When she was literally talking, I couldn't believe some of the stuff she was saying, even at my lay person level. She didn't have a clue what she was talking about. It was way off. All right, guys, we're currently at just barely over 50% for the night. So if you're out there, you might consider helping support this channel, the only channel out there that's literally putting out the reality of this case. You might want to help support that channel instead of the other ones kicking ass out there, and they're doing nothing. In her testimony, Miller did not provide a full context to the analysis. The lab reported a series of likelihood ratios for item 13.1, including an LR likelihood ratio of 0.39 for, that's probably, I don't know if that's Madison or whatever, and then 0.485 for Gonzalez, maybe 0.20, 0.233. So it just did a whole bunch of different tests and got different numbers. All of these individuals sit in the same shoes as Mr. Koberger, namely that likelihood ratio is exclusionary, but falls in the range of inconclusive. Right, so it's inconclusive, but namely that it is exclusionary. But then why do you say the word but? It should have been a different word than that. Of interest is what of interest is that when LR was calculated for probably Mortenson and Kaylee Gonzalez, thus Mr. Koberger's inconclusive likelihood ratio is similar to almost every other person for whom and likelihood ratio was generated, and focusing in on his inclusive likelihood ratio would mislead the jury. So what you're saying is, like in this set, the 3 people that you tested for, he had the same likelihood ratio as them because it's a mixture. And you're saying that if you say that he was inclusive, then it's prejudicial. I don't know. Jesus, it's just mumbo jumbo. In that it implies that the likelihood ratio means that Mr. Koberger's DNA might be present in the same sample, or in the sample. The court should exclude testimony. More importantly, Mr. Koberger has disclosed that through further independent laboratory testing, he is eliminated as a contributor. Yeah, right. Your independent lab testing. So if that's true, he wouldn't even put this in here. When Mr. Koberger sought to overturn the grand jury indictment, he argued that Miller's testimony was inadmissible and misleading. The state argued that the testimony was presented to the grand jury as exculpatory and an effort to elicit favorable evidence for Mr. Koberger. The independent lab testing conducted by the defense related to item 13.1 is indeed exculpatory. Mr. Koberger is excluded, and the state should be precluded from misleading the jury in any way. Conclusion: a fair trial is mandated by Mr. Koberger's. The way the media reported this is that Koberger's DNA is on Madison Mogen's fingernails, and I don't see this as being that direct. Do you guys feel that way? This isn't like, oh yeah, it's definitely. So I just think it's weird when you get places out there that type it in as if it's a factual piece of information that Koberger's DNA is on Madison Mogen's fingernails. It sounds like something that's definitely possible since he's the killer, but these numbers here aren't. You know what I think is crazy is why they haven't developed technology yet to separate DNA in a mixture. That just seems like it'd be so simple. If they could ever get to the point of single-cell DNA identification, then you'd be able to do this stuff. It's like you just go through and you'd find how many different in blood cells or whatever mixture you have. Give me every variant of a different person, so like it can quickly go through and go, yep, that's the same one as that one, that's the same one as that one. Okay, that one's different, and then keep them separated. And it seems like, wouldn't it be cool if you could somehow quickly capture? I don't know, man. I think we're still kind of in an infancy of this. It seems like it's going to be at some point much easier to do. Thanks, Olivia, a.k.a. Olivia Ocean. All right, who's throwing me in prison tonight? I'm sure I've been mean to somebody. We got to get the numbers up. So how do I get... you guys got to throw me in prison and then unfortunately bail me the hell out. Okay? So I'm always doing something. Hey, look at it. It's Timothy Cecil. How's it going, Timothy Cecil? Are you feeling better? Everything good? Superman?
Hello, Grant.
Yeah, who's throwing me in prison? Okay. There's Moofies. I'm sure you can throw me in prison for a good measure. Well, it looks like Moofies threw me in there. So there we go. And where is it? Where's my jail? And there's the jail right there. Now I'm stuck in there. Darn it. Yep, so mean! This is one of those nights, though, I'm not sure I'm going to make it out. It's that slow. This might be a tough one. Huh? Let's see. Ah, good. I'm always doing something bad, Mel. I'm always bad for some reason. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to make it out of here, Moofies, so you can just tell. Here. If you don't want to bail me out, get Moofies out of there. Got about 5 minutes to get bailed out, or we'll call it a night. I'll just make videos on the remaining information. Hey, thanks, Alley Cake. I got some ramen. Got some ramen kicked in. Just trying to reach the goal tonight, you guys. Just trying to reach the goal. Getting crushed again. Should be pretty easy with over 300 people watching. Should have been pretty simple. Are you guys going to get me bailed out of here? Man, this sucks. Okay, there's some bail from Moofies. And Kimberly. Oh, and then, okay, hold on. I'm putting you guys in the spin wheel too. Hopefully we get to that tonight, but might not be able to. But you'll be kept for the next day. And then we've also got Mamasaurus Bear gifted a membership. And who do they go to? Kimberly, not GSU PM. And there's Alley Cake. Wants me to do a bike ride. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Man, I think we're almost out of prison. Just no money to get to the hotel. Oh yeah, just got home. Awesome. Send your information to the prosecutor. I don't know. Those guys can figure it out. Alright, that's probably good enough. Man, you guys. That's brutal. It's like pulling teeth in here to get support. It's wild. Alright, what's the next one? It's almost like people are going, "Great, your work sucks, man. Your work sucks. We just, yeah, we want to support the clown and another guy who just make up shit all day long." And what's the other topic that was new today? There was a couple different ones. What's this one here? This one is excluding Amazon click data. See, I think that one's interesting. So what's interesting about some of these motions is the things that you know the defense is worried about. So if you're worried about Amazon clicks, then that means there might be some items that are relevant to the case that he was clicking on, right? And you don't want people to know that. Oh yeah, the autism one. Yeah. But you don't want people to know that. And then this whole thing's about AI and how it sort of is used by Amazon. It sort of feeds people what to look at. They don't send you pictures of K-bar knife sheaths unless you've already looked it up, okay? Well, I would hope, Mel. I would hope. But that's the feeling I get sometimes. The state disclosed Shane Cox is an expert who will testify about Mr. Koberger's Amazon account activity on that account to include logins and Amazon click activity. The state wants to use very specific narrow dates. The state has not defined Amazon click activity in any reports or expert disclosures, nor provided any opinions or analysis related to the limited data it has produced. Let's see. So here it says, in this ever-evolving age of technology, Amazon uses artificial intelligence, AI, to improve the customer experience by helping customers. And then they go through this long thing about AI and how it affects what somebody looks at, trying to make excuses as to why Koberger might have been looking at something. Let's see what it says right here. Mr. Koberger believes that the state intends to use Amazon evidence to prove elements of its case. See? So she's actually letting us know there's something really valuable that's on the Amazon, and I'd like to know if he bought something. So she's trying to get rid of the clicks and stuff, but I think I'd be more focused in on what he bought. To allow such in the face of the explanation above, and the failure to disclose would be unconstitutional. In fairness, incomplete Amazon data and click activity should not be offered as evidence. Cherry-picking specific clicks or purchases out of an Amazon click history removes all the context explained above, meaning he might have typed this thing in, then AI sent him this one, and then AI sent him that one. What happened? Did I say something? Let's see. I don't know what you guys are arguing about in here. Why are you guys arguing? How come GSU PM's comments are missing up here? You didn't time her out, did you? You made a comment that was out of context? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. About buying a diagnosis? What do you mean by about buying a diagnosis? I don't know what you guys are saying, though. Like, what is the argument that you're having? I can't read it. Oh. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I've said something like that before. Aren't we all on the spectrum, you know? I don't know. I don't even know what you guys are arguing about. I'm sorry. I don't have time either. I'm not going to spend time. You know, but I tell you what I don't need is, you know, that shit going on in the background when I'm doing my show. You know? Let's see. I mean, I just say it like I'm goofing around. I don't have any, you know. Some people, like on YouTube, people have said that just channels go on and on and on about how I'm autistic. You know, because I'll just say whatever I want to say. And, you know, I've never been diagnosed of anything like that. And if it's true, then why are you guys making fun of me? That's not cool. Yeah, but it's also completely unrelated to what I'm talking about. And you guys know Cindy now. She always makes little inflammatory comments, you know, things that are sort of off the wall that a lot of people disagree with. You are what, Shani T? I'm not. I'm not. I'm not autistic. I know that people want to say that. Maybe that'll help explain. Yeah, I just say what I think, you know. I don't think so. I'm like the opposite of OCD. But what I do need, you guys, is I think we're currently at we're 55 short of the goal. So can a group of 388 people try to get us anywhere near there? That'd be great. I'm just trying to keep the ball rolling for the month. It's first 2 days were pretty good, and then it just went. So I'm relegated to, you know, continuing. I mean, I like making videos, sometimes more than doing the show now. But I'd really like it if you guys could help support the channel and get us to our numbers. We do this every single day. Nobody's confused about what we do here. You know, we're 5 days into the month. I want to have a better month than last month. I want to sort of take care of our scholarship fund early, and maybe we'll do another one. I mean, like if we get to 6,000 in the next 3 months or something, why not do a scholarship for summer, you know, and then do another. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, the more people you help, the better, right? But I just need your guys' support, and I don't know what makes it so difficult some nights, you know. It's wild. Hey, thanks, Karen.
Hi, Gray.
Because I'm late tonight. Let's see. Let me see if I have them. It looks like there's Gracie. She's cutting their nails or something right now. Just curled up in a ball over there. Maybe I'll bring him in later. Want me to bring one dog in at a time so you can meet him just close up on the screen a little bit later? I'll tell you what, if we reach the goal, I'll bring in each dog individually, one after another, into here, okay? What happened, Cindy J? I know that GSU PM was angry and left, and you know, when I have people that support my channel, and it'd be nice if you guys didn't make the ones that actually help contribute often angry and get upset with them. You know, it's like it doesn't really help me out at all. Yeah, I've got Chloe, I've got, and you know, especially since it wasn't even really a valid topic of any kind, it was just some dumb comments people are making. Anyways, yeah, so if we reach the goal, I'll bring it in. I'll bring them each in one at a time. Does that sound good, you guys? So right now we're, you know, we still need another 50-something to go. How's that sound? All right, get started, you guys. Yeah. So anyways, I think the only thing that's interesting to me about this Amazon thing, it's another really poor argument by Ann Taylor trying to pretend that AI is sort of sending him stuff, and you know, we can't really know if he was, you know, is that they're worried about the Amazon, and so that's what you get out of this is sort of reverse engineering, where you say like wow, that means they have something from Amazon that he purchased or clicked on or did something that's very relevant in the case. And you know what I think it is, you guys? I think he bought a K-bar knife sheath from Amazon. And I think he might have already had a K-bar knife. And that's why I think there's a chance in this case that the K-bar knife sheath is a calling card, not left accidentally. Not saying it's the most likely, but I'm saying I think there's a better chance than people think that that knife sheath was supposed to be a calling card, that he was going to start leaving something similar at various crime scenes in his start as a serial killer. That's what he wanted to be. A serial killer. He'd studied serial killers and he wanted to be one, and he thought he had this one completely wrapped up. I think he spent time cleaning that knife sheath. Thanks, Moofies. Cleaning the knife sheath, made sure it was nice and clean, and he just missed a tiny little spot on the snap, and he probably wiped the outside of it, didn't think of the inside, but when you do the snap, your finger goes underneath it and then you click it. And he probably wiped down the outside, thought he got it nailed, and he missed that inside spot. And then you say to yourself, well, if it's true that he cleaned that knife sheath, why would he do that if he was taking the knife sheath with him? You see what I'm saying? Like, if he was taking the knife sheath with him and he didn't intend to lose it or anything, leave it there, then why would he spend time cleaning it if you believe that's what he did? Because there's no explanation for that. And I think there's still a chance that he would have been arrested someday without leaving that knife sheath there. But it just would have been a lot longer down the road. They would have looked into everybody with a white Elantra, saw where his phone was pinging, then really started to get interested in him, and then they'd have to look up the other information that they have. But the knife sheath really is pretty much the one thing that places him inside the house. The white Elantra driving around places him just outside of the house for a 12-minute window in which all 4 people were killed. And I think if I was on a jury and I heard that circumstantially, I would absolutely convict him. Just the fact that he's, the white Elantra's driving around missing its front license plate. His phone turned off at 2:54. Then there's the white Elantra that matches that with missing its front license plate, shows up on Indian Hills Drive at 3:26. 3:28 passes the A&W, missing its front license plate. 3:29, a verified sighting. So even that verified sighting would have been verified that was Brian Kohberger. And then given the timing and the direction it was headed, that's the same vehicle, the white sedan that you see on Linda Lane. Then it's the same vehicle that comes back around on King and Queen Road 500. And then it continues and does 4 more loops over a 45-minute period, or a really more like a 35-minute period. And then, so he's still locked in. It's just that would some jurors go, I don't know, man, there's reasonable doubt there. The knife sheath takes reasonable doubt away. It's like if there's somebody out there that really believes that some weird, the killer planted the touch DNA on there and all that crap, then that's just not reasonable at all. All right, well, Moofy's tried, you guys. Do you guys want to get to the goal tonight? Put a 1 if you want to get to the goal. I guess not. Oh, shit. Come on, you guys. We need 45 more. It seems like that's pretty easy with 377 people. Now, if you're watching and you're wondering, gosh, this grind. Listen, I try to raise the funds on this channel every night because I need the funds to help my channel survive. Plus, we give away, this channel's given away $233,500 since January of 2020. Okay? You hear that? So the only way that happens, if you guys are doing that, and I do my videos for the ad revenue, etc., and all that together allows me to give away thousands as well. All right? So if you feel like you can support it, then that'd be great. Yeah, or just one cat eye donation, Jessica Miller. That's usually, I mean, the problem is when you don't have a night when there's the bigger one like that, then it's hard. I used to have a bunch of people that would always do the cat eye donations, and it's sort of easy to get to the goal at that point, but when, it's harder with the smaller, all the smaller ones together make a difference, but when you have a couple of the bigger ones, and it just makes it really easy. I think it's in August, Zoza. So you got 5 more months of hell, man. Hey, thanks, J Cool 3300. Yeah, it'll be cool too because we'll actually do the spin if we get there. And Karen, hey, by the way, Karen, I don't know if you were here, but you won the spin yesterday. You weren't here. I spun for the notebook on the late night show last night, and you won it. The notebook. So you'll have to. I think I just sent you one though. We'll figure something out. Hey, look at that. It's Miss Skiss. Hey, we're getting there now. We're getting there. Good to see you. How are things going with you?
Love you, green freaks. Growing hot, growing hot, growing hot, growing hot.
And there's Mamasaurus Bear 64.
Chewbacca?
Chewbacca if you want me to. And the thing is, I've got trolls out there that always bash my channel because I'm trying to raise the funds on it. But what they never tell people is that we've given $233,000. They never mention that part of it. Wow, look at that. It's GSU PM. The legend. All right. I got you in there. If you win tonight, GSU PM will figure out something other than a notebook. I think you've sort of won a few of those. I'm not sure when you're going to get that hat. I'm going to go check on that. But thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, the trolls don't care. They just go, oh, look at that gray guy, look at that gray guy. And the thing is yeah, I do get frustrated on nights when we're not reaching the goals because that's a huge part of what we do here. We've made a massive difference out there. We've identified, I think, 5 different Jane and John Does at this point. One of them was a serial killer victim. She was one of 11, but that one was never identified. Her family didn't want it out there, so we haven't been able to say it. So, we do a lot of great stuff here. I mean, for people that are just watching for the first time, see, look at, in 2020, the first year of the pandemic, when we're all sitting around, this channel gave $22,000 out. And then we sort of made it a thing, like, oh, let's just keep going. Then the next year, 2021, $42,500, right? Then 2022, we did $62,250. I mean, that was ludicrous. That was, the Idaho case was pretty big back then. And then 2023, we did 57,000, still pretty good year. Last year we did 49, which is still pretty damn good, really. It just wasn't as big as that one year. And so far this year, we're only at 5,000, which is, that puts us, we're sort of in like a 28,000, 30,000 range. But I think as the year gets on, there'll probably be cases where it's bigger and more people showing up. And so hopefully we'll get back to that. But what that does, it puts us at $233,500, which is, I could have easily paid off a house at that point. Right. Let's see. And a lot of people have been around, like Miss Skiss and Zozo and Paulette and Lisa Valens. Everybody's been around for a long time. I think, hell, Mama 457 Rose has been around a while. Hey, welcome, Sherry C. You need different dog beds. Well, I think the light's too bright is what the problem is. Yeah, but I'll bring them each at a time here, right? I don't know how long, because Clancy, they're always so wiggly. I think you guys will like. I think Clancy's, I don't know, it just kind of goes back and forth. But all 4 of the dogs have completely different personalities. There's not one slight similarity between any of them. All right, what's the last one again? It was, yeah, the autism thing. Is it this one? Yeah. All right, so I think it's this one right here. So this one's 7 pages long. It says, comes now Brian C. Koberger, by and through his attorneys of record, and hereby moves this court for an order preventing the state from using Mr. Koberger's mental health. And by the way, we reached the goal. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. If you still want to help support the channel, it's all part of the same thing. Moves this court for an order preventing the state from using Mr. Koberger's mental health diagnosis of autism and the characteristics of his autism as evidence in its case. See, I think this is a backdoor way of trying to introduce that he has that. Because why would the state be using it? Oh, he's autistic, therefore he's a killer. I mean, they wouldn't say that. It's ridiculous. Now, Brian Koberger, by and through his attorneys of record, and hereby moves this court for an order preventing the state from using Mr. Koberger, that's a pretty creative way to get that out there, mental health diagnosis of autism, and the characteristics of his autism as evidence in its case. This motion is meant to protect Mr. Koberger's 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights under the United States Constitution and Article 1, Section 6 and 13 of the Idaho Constitution. Mr. Koberger has a diagnosis of autism, and he displays characteristics consistent with autism. Okay, well, if he's been diagnosed, you would think he would display characteristics that are consistent with it, right? Because that's how they would have determined that he was autistic. A comprehensive neuropsychological evaluation of Mr. Koberger conducted by Dr. Rachel Orr found that Mr. Koberger continues to exhibit all the core diagnosis features of ASD. Ironically, it was 2 months after I bought him a book on all of the characteristics. Just kidding, it doesn't say that, but I always feel like that's what's going on in these cases, you guys. I mean, it's just like Richard Allen. He had all this information. It's just garbage. A comprehensive neuropsychological evaluation of Mr. Koberger conducted by Dr. Rachel Orr found that Mr. Koberger continues to exhibit all the core diagnostic features, all of them. I mean, he didn't miss one. I mean, he was a great study when they gave him that book, currently with significant impact on his daily life. Mr. Koberger shares characteristics such as social challenges, let's see, I think it's meant to say preservation or perseveration. I don't even know what that word is. Never heard of it. And lack of reciprocity. These characteristics are noted. There, let me just look this thing up. Might as well. Never heard of it. What do you mean, Gray? I read books all the time that have that word in it. Well, then you read books that I didn't read, because never heard of it. That means when someone repeats a behavior, I like perseverance, but perseveration. Okay, I get it. Or action without able to stop. I remember when I was a kid reading a book where somebody would spin I'm not reading a book, it was a movie on TV, and this kid spun a book, or not a book, a plate around, and it was spinning, and then he'd start going like this with his hands while it was spinning, and that, they said he had autism. It can be a symptom of brain injury, autism, or disorder. Okay, so it means like he's persevering, doing the same thing over and over again. And lack of reciprocity. These characteristics are noted by those unfamiliar with autism, so people just see him doing it, as not picking up on social cues. In evaluating Mr. Koberger, Dr. Orr found that he has displayed lifelong deficits. Okay, so for you pro-burgers out there, what is it going to be? What is it going to be for you guys? Are you admitting that he's the killer, but he should have people look at him differently because he's autistic, or what? What's your angle going to be now? Because just putting this out there makes it seem like Ann Taylor knows what the inevitable is going to be, and then wants there to be some consideration of the diagnosis of being autistic. Do you guys think that that's legitimate, or what do you guys think? Mr. Koberger shares characteristics such as social challenges and repeating things over and over and lack of reciprocity. These characteristics are noted by those unfamiliar with autism, so just random people, as not picking up on social cues. That's what they think he's doing. In evaluating Mr. Koberger, Dr. Orr found that he... Well, what about saying you have nice birthing hips? Is that part of that? In evaluating Mr. Koberger, Dr. Orr found that he has displayed lifelong deficits in social, emotional, reciprocity, including limited perspective taking and limited sharing of affect emotions of others. Because of his autism, others may see Brian as not recognizing social cues. It's almost like you're admitting that he's the killer here. You're trying to sort of set him up as like an Adam Lanza Asperger's type. I mean, isn't this kind of weird? Because of his autism, others may see Brian as not recognizing social cues. And you know what's interesting is Elliot Rodger, Papa Roger, he had Asperger's. So I'm wondering if Koberger just kind of studied up on that for this. Because of his autism, others may see Brian as not recognizing social cues, continuing to talk to others when the conversation would naturally end. I have a friend that's like that. Over-focusing on a topic or hobby of interest, or talking about the same topic repeatedly. Oh my God, I must have that then. Using a complicated vocabulary or seeming self-absorbed. Brian's autism is also accompanied by obsessive compulsiveness and an eating disorder. I mean, aren't they really describing the perfect person to be doing all these things? Since childhood, Mr. Koberger has exhibited compulsions around getting things in his eyes, hand washing, and other germ avoidant behaviors. These characteristics must not be used by the prosecution. See, you guys, does anybody out here think that this is a legitimate motion? Or is she just trying to, in a motion that everybody gets to read, to put out all these things about Brian Koberger and his, autism and things they want you to know? Because why would the prosecution use any of this? Why would they go out there and go, well, we think because he's autistic, he did all these things? This is just ridiculous. But we're only doing it so that, you don't use it. It's weird. I mean, okay, Brian's autism is also accompanied by obsessive compulsive and eating disorder. And then down here it says, these characteristics must not be used by the prosecution as factors for jury to consider as aggravators. Why would they, though? Evidence of mental illness in capital case litigation is mitigation evidence. The United States Supreme Court and the Idaho Supreme Court recognize evidence of a defendant's mental illness as mitigating. That says that mental health evidence is relevant to mitigation. Yeah, so they want it to be... Basically what she's doing is saying, I'm introducing to you that he's got autism. And I'm pretending that I don't want you to bring it up, but it should be used as a mitigating factor. Okay? So keep that in mind. I've already let you know. Right here it says, evidence of mental illness in capital case litigation is mitigating evidence. The United States Supreme Court and the Idaho Supreme Court recognize evidence of a defendant's mental illness as mitigating. Holding that, I mean, the judge might even rule in their favor here, saying, yeah, I won't allow them to do that, because they weren't going to do that. Okay, there's no chance that they were going to do that. It is clear that a mental defect may diminish an individual's culpability for a criminal act. Let's see. It is inappropriate for the prosecution to wrap mitigating evidence into an aggravator. In Roper versus Simmons, the Supreme Court noted with this disapproved. I think if you mentioned that he was autistic, the jury wouldn't do it. You know, like they actually wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Let's see. What's going on now? Right. She is grasping at stars. Yeah. Yeah, she's all over the place. Let's be honest. I mean, obviously autism's a real thing, you know. It's not like... I just don't think Kohberger... I don't know what he is. I think he's a psychopath is what he is. And I think he probably looked up to Elliot Rodger, you know, maybe. Maybe he did. I think Kohberger's an incel. Although there's a lot of women out there, oh, he's hotter than hell, man. I'd love it if he told me I had birthing hips. Okay, well, you go ahead. I think most of us... That's a lot better than you got eyes that look like a lizard, I can tell you that. Let's see. Oh, Kohberger. See, a lot of people when they see Kohberger, it sounds like this in their minds. Oh, it's Brian. Oh, Brian Kohberger. Oh, you're the hottest guy in the world, Brian Kohberger. If we could just... Oh, yeah. If it wasn't for the fact that you killed so many people, I think I could change you, Brian. I know I could change you, Brian. Ah, shit. You do? You sing that to your husband? Effanawa? Do you say it the way I think it says? Misgis? Do you say it that way? Yeah. Oh, he's just... Wow. Put him right next to Luigi Mangione, man. They could do a porn together. God, that'd be great. Yeah. They should have a convention for the women who love Brian Kohberger and Luigi Mangione. And then maybe have a side conference for all the guys. And then what the guys do is they dress up as Kohberger and Luigi Mangione. And they go to the bars and they pick up the girls that were attracted to Luigi Mangione and Kohberger. Man, I just came up with oh, that would be the greatest convention on the planet. So everybody looks like Kohberger and Mangione. And the girls are there because they want to meet people that look and kind of remind you of them. Oh, God, that's amazing. What could we charge for something like that? I don't know, man. I don't know. Weirdly, there's these guys that are all into them, too, though. It's strange. If you just join and you say, what did you miss? I would just recommend you rewind it to the beginning. It is inappropriate for the prosecution to wrap mitigating evidence into an aggravator. In some cases, the defendant's youth may even be counted against him. In this very case, this is the case they're referring to. As we noted above, the prosecutor argued Simmons' youth was an aggravating rather than mitigating. While this sort of overreaching, yeah, but nobody's going to ever say to a jury, hey, he's autistic, man. I think that makes him a killer. That would immediately turn off a juror. Now, if you said he was a psychopath or a sociopath diagnosis, that would be a aggravator, right? But when you say autistic, they're in a different category where they're sort of protected by people, right? So I think that's what the deal is there. I think if you said that, there's no way in hell this prosecutor is going to jump in there and say, oh yeah, everybody, I think you should put him to death because he's autistic. I mean, I think they might even want to change their vote at that point. I mean, it's like, you just don't do that. It's stupid. Well, of course they are, Karen. We know that she's trying anything she can. Yeah. Individualized sentencing in capital cases reflect the concern of the court for fairness in proceedings. As such, Idaho is required to provide for unhindered consideration of mitigating evidence. Yeah, I don't want to just keep going. This is too long of something about that topic. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. I think she really just wanted to put this in here to introduce to the public that her client has been, by one of her experts, diagnosed as having autism and exhibited every single trait. Sounds like somebody that was studying up. Wouldn't you think that a normal autistic person might not have every single one of them? Maybe you'd have 7 of the 8 and they'd go, yeah, or 5 of the 8, and you'd still be on the spectrum somewhere. Instead, he has every single one of them as if he had been reading up on it. Yeah, it's just a little strange. Not saying he doesn't have it, but I mean, he's a little, it wouldn't shock me if he had it. Should he be, let me ask you this though, if he has autism, should it mitigate at all his culpability? Because I think autistic people are completely aware of what's right and wrong, and I think sometimes they have to be, I don't know if I'm right here, but I remember I dated a woman that had an autistic kid, and she said that, like, you sort of have to teach them what right and wrong is, but they don't have, like, sometimes certain levels, they don't have the inherent, like, knowing that something is right and wrong. They just know that it's not because they were been taught that it was right or wrong. Like, they have sort of a, what do you call it, like a, what are you guys talking about? Yeah, that he doesn't have. It's not relevant. I'm not sure. I forgot what I asked, what you guys are saying no to now. I kept talking. I didn't wait. Hey, thanks, Mary C. And then look at that. Lisa L was gifted. Still not GSU PM. Welcome, Lisa L. Trying to scroll down really fast. It's got way behind. No to mitigating. Yeah, like they should know. I mean, even if you're just taught what right and wrong is, you would know that it's not right to do something. And I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Like sometimes, like some of the diagnoses of somebody like Asperger's or something, like the lack of what is it? I can't remember what the term was. Never mind. Hey, look at that. The Broken Scout on a coffee over there. Thank you. Very cool. Thanks, The Broken Scout. Enough about it. Comment, but it was, if he was capable of studying, what he was, he's capable of knowing. Right. I mean, he's a doctorate student. He obviously knows about it. So maybe they don't want it to be argued as... it just seems stupid to say that... That's why I think this whole motion here is bogus. I think it was just an attempt, just like Andrew Baldwin in the Delphi case with the Odin document, is to put out information in the public to get like his supporters to be more ramped up, you know, because what's the point of this thing? The prosecution is not going to use autism as a aggravating issue for the death penalty. I mean, that would be insane. I think that would turn off every single person on the jury, and they would immediately switch it to life in prison without parole. Yeah, I just think that's... And then she knows that. So she just wants it out there for people to know. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, it was empathy was what I was turning in. Yeah, I mean, like for example, I don't know what on the spectrum where this kid was, but I dated this lady that had a child that was on the spectrum, and I mean, he was like, he did stuff that scared the hell out of me, man. I don't know where he was on it or whatever, but like we went fishing one time, and I caught like a 6-inch, like a little 7-inch trout or something, and I said, "Hey, you want to hold it for a second?" You know, just so he could feel what, you know, and he grabbed it and just squeezed it to death, like really quickly, just killed it. And he was like, you know, he was probably 12 or 13 or something. He wasn't some really young kid. And then, you know, like he bought him, then we caught some crawdads and he just sat around and sort of like tortured him or something. I don't know what he was doing. He just killed them all. So I don't know what level, where he was at. I mean, maybe he had something else. That's what his mom said, though. Who is Ann billing for this paper? I don't know. Yeah, well, it was just kind of weird to kill a fish, just squeeze it like that. Made me nervous. But I mean, and then I've met a whole bunch of other autistic kids and people that are just normal, you know. I mean, it's the same as like in the regular population, there's psychopaths and normal people, right? So, like if you have a community of autistic people, there's probably going to be some in there that are you know, and you know, I guess it would make maybe it's even easier for one of them to. I don't know if it's like lacking empathy. Some might, you know, but it's still like a rare thing inside that same community. So I don't know. It's one of those things you can't talk about, because if a parent has an autistic kid and you don't say exactly what's in the textbook or what they believe with all their friends and everything, then you're sort of a pariah. You know, you're an evil person because you didn't say it exactly right. So I don't know. It's hard to talk about it. You know, it's one of those topics. I try to, you know, I was actually in a relationship with a kid that was autistic, so I had some experience, but not a lot. Wish I knew more. Maybe someday I will. See what I mean, chicken wing? See what I'm talking about? Washington State, he chose Idaho. Nobody to blame but himself. Yeah, well, he thought he was being clever, you know. Gonna go to that state across the way, a different state and everything, and I'll go back to mine. And then he was going to change his license plate to his own. Hey, wait, hold on, Karen. I'm going to go get the dogs now. Karen, don't take off yet. All right, hold on. I'll do it just for you. I'll do it just for you. I have more documents, but I think I'm kind of all document it out. All right, hold on. I'm gonna go get the. Oh, there's. Okay, I'll get Benny first. All right, hold on. Okay, here's one of them. Woo! This one's Clancy. See, there you go. Look, look. Can you see yourself? Ugh. Ugh. Oh boy, he's got sharp. Oh. He's got such sharp nails. All right, here we go. Hold on. He's like battles all the time. All right, there you go. There's Clancy. All right, there you go. There's one. All right, we're gonna do Benny now. Hey, thanks Pam from New York. All right, I'm gonna go get Benny now. Okay. All right, this is the long-haired Benny. He makes noises. See, look at. Make a noise. Gotta like Benny. He's really a long-haired Chihuahua. Almost looks like a Pomeranian, sort of. You know. They always love it when you scratch right on their eyeballs. Say hello. Say hello to the freaks. There it is. What's that sound? All right, there's one. All right, see, Benny's a lot more relaxed, yeah. And you know what? When you pick up Benny, he's like a cat. Kind of, you know, slinky kind of, where Clancy's like sturdy. It's weird. But yeah, look how cool. Benny's just totally chill here. So who's cuter? Clancy or Benny so far? It doesn't really matter. They're the same. Alright. Here's Chloe. Chloe's like 5 years old, though. Or 6. Yay. She only weighs like 3 pounds. Really little. But she's probably the best behaved of all of them. How does GSU PM? She got to take off or what? Okay. Why does that topic make it so that you get upset about it? Or like you need a break just by talking about Kohberger. Do you believe Kohberger has that or? Yeah, it was weird. You put her on one of those carpets, you can't see her. Yeah, I think she's like 5 or something now. Yeah, she's so perfect. She probably just, I think you could just have her sit up here. Like she would just climb up there or something, I don't know. Alright. Anyways, let me get the Gracie. There's the Maltese. Or wait, I think it's a Maltese. Yeah, this is Gracie right here. You alright? I think Chloe's part one of these. I think they're related somehow. Well, we put a little, like normally we have her hair back and then it's up in a little samurai little thing on the top. She just had a bath, so it hasn't been put on yet. Yeah, it's really long and fluffy. Oh yeah, you haven't met him? All right, cool. Anyways, there you go. But normally her hair's up in a little thing, kind of like up, like like a. I don't know. I don't do it, so. It was funny because you'd see how her hair is so long, so it'd be like this, like you can't even see her face. And then we'd bring her into, like I'd come in the room, she'd always just look on the ground all the time, at her feet. And then one day we said, hey, let's put her hair up, and all of a sudden she looks up in the air and goes, whoa. Almost like she'd never seen us before until she finally got their hair taken out of her face. It's weird. Yeah. Okay. Well, Chloe's hair never gets long enough for those things. But anyways, I'm gonna go bring back Gracie now. All right, there we go, there we go, there we go. Yeah, I always say having conversations with, I mean, the only thing we were talking about autism about is Koberger. But it sucks, you know. I hate the topic because it's like, you know, especially when it's in crime related. Because if you're a parent and there's a crime created by, you know, committed by someone with autism, then they probably think that everybody's going to start thinking that everybody with autism is a criminal or has a potential, but I don't think that's what people think. And if they do, they shouldn't. Well, there you go. You guys got to meet the dogs. Here I got to go up and get the Pam from New York again. All right, we're going to, I'm going to do a spin now. No, that's not it. All right, here's the, I hope I got most everybody in here. Let me think. Oh wait, I gotta get, hold on, I gotta do this again. All right. Here we go. Oh, Pam from New York. You just won. There you go. That's so funny because you were like one atom from it going on to the next name there, which was Justin. Look at that. I mean, I don't even know, man. Is that even? That's crazy. Let's see how close that is. Look on that little thing there. Watch. Wow. That's like 1 pixel. Can you guys see that? I don't know if you can see that at all. Oh, you can't. That's funny. All right. Well, you have to send me your, in an email, your address to ship off the notebook. All right. So just send me an email with your address in it, and then you'll be on the next time I put them all together and ship them off. But I'm sorry if you're out there and you're somebody that gets offended with the when we talk about, you know, this just happens to be one of the topics that Koberger's attorney brought up, and I don't think any of us are, unless you have a child that's autistic, we're probably not experts, or maybe if you're a psychologist or something, you might be, but the rest of us, I don't know. I don't really know much about it. I just have my one experience with the woman I was dating and her kid. And she'd always like call up and go, "Oh my God, he's going," you know. So I don't know what he had. I think he had multiple things going on. I don't think it was just he was autistic or something. So, anyways, if you're out there, GSU PM. Sorry, it wasn't a very good, you know, wasn't a good topic. All right, sorry about that. I get it. thanks everybody. Appreciate it. And I want to say thanks to, hold on, it shows up. So we had Pam from New York gifted a membership, then Julia Morellas, then Julia Morellas 9 months, then Allie Cake, Pam from New York with a super chat, then Midwest, then Cheryl, then GSU PM, then Momosaurus Bear 64, then Maureen and Allie Cake and Jessica Miller and Rebecca Medley gifted a membership, then Shani T, then Wise Child, K Me, Allie Cake, and then Pam from New York again, Linda Howe, Joel Burnt, I think it's like Burnt, something like that, then Lynette Eades, Snarky Cinderella gifted a membership, then Shanty T, new member, then Sammy Day, then Olivia, aka Olivia Ocean, then Timothy Cecil, then Richard Watts, then Allie Cake, Moofies, Kimberly June, Momosaurus 64 gifted a membership, Allie Cake, Midwest, Moofies, J Cool 3300, then Miss Skis, then Momosaurus Bear 64, then GSUPM with the cat eye of the night, and then Deco Trash, then Sherry C, new member, and then Uniquely Susie, retired hospice RN, then Mary C, and then Pam from New York, right at the buzzer there. Maybe that was the one that won it for you. Who knows? But anyways, oh yeah, and I had those, and then there was a Broken Scout on a coffee, and then it just says someone supported me, doesn't have a name, for $10 on Buy Me a Coffee, and then Justin on Buy Me a Coffee. So there's no name on the other one though. Yeah, I wish Broken Scout would come back in here more often, or I haven't seen him like in months. Yeah, that's the thing, is I don't want to hurt the feelings of somebody who has a child that's autistic by saying the wrong thing, so it makes it a hard topic. And Cindy said, yes, thanks, Mod. Sorry for causing a distraction. And again, I apologize to anyone if I was insensitive to the topic. Well, there you go. You see that, GSUPM, if you're still out there? It all works out. Yeah, no, I don't mind. I mean, we should be able to talk about it. It's just one of those things where... oh, jeez. Now we got a troll coming in. Get rid of that person. I can just tell by the name it's not really somebody you want around. Oh, yeah? Huh. On this show just now? I wasn't saying much. I didn't have much to say. I just was like, yeah. I know it's a difficult topic to talk about because people, if you have a thought, you're worried if what you're going to say is going to be offensive. But it's a topic because Brian Koberger is claiming that. I don't buy it at all. I think he's full of crap. So, anyways, thanks everybody. Glad you guys got to meet all the dogs and everything, and they are real. There aren't these little blurred out creatures on the ground. Oh. Yeah, I don't think he has. I don't know. I think Koberger is a psychopath, and if he's exhibiting traits of autism, it's because he learned them to be able to sell that. Because being a psychopath or a sociopath does not. It is actually, that would be an aggravating factor. So he thought that he could just, if he can get that word out there that he's autistic or something, that he could maybe get some sympathy points and not get the death penalty. That's what he's really going at. That's what Ann Taylor's doing. Ann Taylor is tailoring what she's saying. Her last name is perfect. Okay? Except she's poor at tailoring. No, they didn't say. They just said he's a possible contributor. They didn't say his DNA was on there. He wasn't excluded. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I mean, there's podcasters, all kinds of people. People with autism do all kinds of great stuff. Some of them are. You know, what's weird is that it seems like some of the ones that are even more severe, they're the ones that have the like I was going to say, the crazy memory and like a talent that they're just incredible at. You know, like listen to a song one time and play it. You know, like just boom. You listen to it, and I mean, it's just incredible to be able to do something like that. Yeah, right. A savant. He could be. Yeah. I don't know if he is, but I don't know. I always wonder if Barron Trump is. He always seems to. Have you guys ever even heard him speak, really? I mean, just sort of get up and really talk for a while. I think I barely heard him one time, like being introduced to somebody and said something. But that's it. Actually, I don't think he is. Right. Which one? Who knows when players were drafted, when they went to college, how many yards they ran. Oh yeah, they have that memory of, they can just get all the stats and everything. My oldest son is that way musically. He can pick up an instrument. Is he autistic? And play it in minutes. Autism is not an out. As a matter of fact, they have learned to overcome, and they do have empathy. But there's I mean, what about the lack of empathy? I mean, lack doesn't mean you don't have empathy. It's just sort of a lesson. Like, I don't know if Asperger's or something. I've seen that. Like, if you look it up in the thing, that's one of the. I don't know. Let me see. It says people with Asperger's syndrome may have difficulty with empathy, but they are not inherently incapable of it. Right. There you go. And so that might be why the kid squished the fish, you know. Early observations suggested that people with Asperger's had less emotional reactivity than the neurotypical people. However, current research suggests that people with Asperger's have empathy, but it's different from the neurotypical experience. That's probably the new buzzword, neurotypical. People with Asperger's may have difficulty integrating the cognitive and affective aspects of another person's mental state, like observing them and understanding what they might be feeling. And it doesn't say all of them, it just says they may have, right? They may use their intellect to compensate for the absence of emotional empathy. That's sort of interesting. I'm just reading it off of Google, so that could be wrong too, you know. My son also has social issues as mine. Everything is black or white. I mean, like when I say Koberger 100% is the killer. I don't see it any other way, you guys. I don't see any out. There's nothing in my mind that I go, you know, that's interesting. I don't have any doubt at all, and I feel like I'm just sort of like somebody that's out there trying to put out the. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure some of you watch other people. I don't really watch any YouTube channels on the Koberger case, but I would say that 99% of the channels are all pro-Berger types, or like really severely question things, right? And I think I'm probably the only one that really just sits there and goes, hey, listen, Koberger's the killer, all right? There is no doubt. Everyone else has a little bit of a leeway they give, right? Like some sort of an out, you know, like that one UK dipshit who always says, I'm just spitballing here, with an accent, of course. I'm just spitballing, and comes up with the most ludicrous ideas you've ever heard in your life, but none of them, he never has an idea that is supportive of Koberger being the killer, okay? Never. It's always, hey, thanks, Delphi. I'll put you in there for tomorrow's spin. If we get to the goal tomorrow, we'll see. Yeah, maybe I'm honest to a fault. You know, maybe that's a problem that I have. Like, I'll say what I'm feeling, etc., and some people don't like it. Whatever, you know. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The British spitballing guy. He's just, I mean, I hope that when the verdict comes out and the reality of the case comes out, that people realize that they were sold a bill of goods by that person. Now, in this, if it turns out he's found not guilty, it just means that the case will never be investigated again, okay? Because Koberger is the killer, and if he's found not guilty, it just means that justice will never be done for those 4 kids. There is no other person. Koberger also, just like in the Delphi case, answered every single question that law enforcement had. Hey, you guys remember that one case out of Kansas City? Those 3 guys that were at a football game watching it at the house, and they all died of like fentanyl. They actually arrested 2 people on that one. Finally, I think one of them was probably the guy that was there. Bushy eyebrows drawing up on her wall. Yeah. She had bushy eyebrows drawing up on her wall. She was tripping. Under Idaho laws, the defendant has rights. Or, are you joking around, Tara? I don't know what you're saying, man. You sound... She didn't. She had pictures on her wall that had eyebrows that Ann Taylor said could be considered bushy eyebrows. What a joke. Okay? Embarrassing. It's weird that people believe stuff like that. Like, they literally listen to Ann Taylor and watch when the judge finally rules on this shit. It's going to be hilarious. What is the charge they arrested him for? What is the owner of the house that dude? I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. Who are you talking about, Kelly? Now they're charged for, oh, you mean the 3 people. It was something like, what was it? what it was, not intentional manslaughter. Forgot the term, but they sold cocaine that had fentanyl in it or something, and they all died. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at it earlier. I don't know where it happened to it though. Yeah. Hey, Georgina gifted a membership right at the end of the show. I'll put you on for tomorrow. To my. Maybe we can get GSU PM to call in and she can give us more, educational information the next time we do a show. Was that on Facebook that she gave me that? Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what it says. Hold on. 2 men charged in connection with deaths of 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans in January. Charges have been filed against 2 men in connection with the death of 3 Kansas City Chief fans in January. Jordan Willis and Ivory Carson are both charged with 3 counts of involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of delivery of controlled substance. People may have doubted this investigation because it has spanned more than a year. Court documents state that Willis and 3 men attended a gathering at the residence of January 7th to watch a football game where they consumed alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine. When police arrived 2 days later, they found McGeeney's truck parked outside and made entry into the basement window, discovering the bodies of 38-year-old Ricky Johnson, 36, Clayton McKinney, and 37-year-old David Harrington in the backyard. A search of the home uncovered multiple bags containing a white, powdery substance, later confirmed by forensic analysis to contain both cocaine and fentanyl. DNA evidence linked Willis and Carson to the drugs, according to the charging documents. The medical examiner on January 12, 2024, ruled the deaths were due to combined fentanyl and cocaine toxicity. Investigators linked that. Fentanyl is such a. Aren't you, even if you're a Democrat, aren't you pumped that Trump's trying to get rid of that shit? That stuff is the worst thing in the world. It's killed like 100,000 people a year. And what's the difference of just dropping a bomb or something? It's the same damn thing, just slowly eroding away. They're both in police custody currently. All right, there we go. So many deaths. Scary, scary drug. Yeah, it is. It's horrible. All right, so I think I'm going to make I think I should put a video out on this thing here, though, right? The way I put that together. I'll probably go through the whole thing again, but like this is. Look at that, you guys. Ding, 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 ding. Come on. Look at the line out here. Just this whole line that goes right there, and look at that. It's just absolutely, and the wheel well and everything. It's just perfect. And it's a moving car. That's why it's a little bit blurry back there. Who's victim blaming? What are you talking about? Why did she run downstairs and not call line for? Who cares? Tara? Listen, Dylan Mortenson had nothing to do with it, Tara. You're aware of that, right? I mean, I just want to make sure. You're aware, right? The sharpening filter, don't you agree? Sharpening of the image makes things more jaggy. Uh-huh. Come on, Tara. You're one of the freebie members, aren't you? It's weird how they always give themselves away. Let's see. She was being rude to mods on top of the victim blaming. Yeah. Yeah. Well. Let's see. That's fine. Yeah, it's fine that you timed her out. Don't give a damn. Seems like one of those people that can't synthesize information too well. Oh God, you're so what? Go ahead. What is it, Charisma? Finish the sentence. Come on. Handsome? Is that what you're gonna say? Oh, thank you. Thank you. People haven't said that for so long. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks, Jeepsy Jody. For all the families here with loved ones who are on the spectrum.
All the families here with loved ones on the spectrum. Heartfelt love and kindness goes out. Heart.
I agree. I'm sure she does. Anybody that's out there that believes that Bethany Funk has something to do with it also believes Kohberger isn't the killer. They're the same group of people. They go out of their way looking for somebody. Oh God, you're so... Finish the sentence, Charisma. What is it? You got about 30 more seconds to finish the sentence. Mods and Gray for my snark, but Tara hit me wrong and tonight isn't the night. Oh, I don't even know what you said, Moofies. Is that what it is? Lisa, thank you. Thank you so much. I know, they always show up. Every time you do the Kohberger case, they sit around at home, have a few shots, and then late at night they stumble in drunk as a... I mean, just can barely keep their eyes open. They come stumbling into the chat. Kohberger is innocent, guy. Okay, well, you can believe whatever you want. Why did she run downstairs and not call 911? Here's what I could picture it being. There was loud noises. She wasn't sure what happened. She wasn't sure if it was just her roommates arguing and fighting, but she just wasn't sure. But she didn't want to call the cops because then it becomes real and it becomes a bigger deal. So she goes downstairs and she just sits there, and then maybe she did get to finally go to sleep because now she felt safer being with a friend, etc. So I absolutely can see how she was feeling. You don't want to know the truth. And probably even down there, she probably didn't sleep that great. Just kind of... The moment you call cops, just like when... I've said this before. If you have a missing child, when does it become real? It becomes real once you make the call to cops and say, my child is missing. Prior to that, you still have hope they're just going to pop up. But then there's a point where you realize that there's something not quite right, and you call cops, and now it's real, and that's when it really starts freaking you out and hitting you, and it's really shitty at that point. Okay, that's exactly that. So it's like, okay, there's this stuff going on. I don't know what it was, you know. Maybe it'll just go away and everything will be fine tomorrow. And so she goes downstairs and goes into the room with Bethany Funk, apparently. Well, I mean, it's not really giving private. What do you mean privacy? She didn't live in their room, Foxy Wolf. One of the probable cause really didn't convey her story. I don't know. Why would it need to, though? The probable cause just says what it needs, you know, the part that needs to be in there for probable cause. I don't know why you need to put in her story how she went downstairs. It's irrelevant to the probable cause, right? It has nothing to do with it. See, I don't wonder about stuff like that because it's just, you know, why would you put in the probable cause? Bethany Funk went downstairs. There's no factual portion of that helps in any way, shape, or form in either direction. That she went downstairs to Bethany Funk's room. And never even mentioned that part. It just said she came out of her room 3 times. That's still intact. She was looking, you know, tried to hear something, and then she went back in her room. And then on the 3rd time, right when she opens the door, the killer's right there. And all she could see was she had bushy eyebrows, a little bit taller than her, had like a face mask on, balaclava situation. And that's it. There's no reason to say after that. And then she goes downstairs and slept in Bethany Funk's room, and then because the 911 call and all that stuff is irrelevant to probable cause. Has nothing to do with it. The bushy eyebrow is relevant. The DNA on the knife sheet was relevant, and all the other investigation up to that point is relevant, but her going into the Bethany Funk's room isn't, in my opinion. I don't see how it's part of a probable cause document. I don't think reading that the judge is going to go, oh man, I don't see probable cause now because you went down and slept in Bethany Funk's room. I think she'd say, God, I do the same thing. Or he, the judge. Hit the floor. I can't imagine what she went through. Yep. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate it. What are we at now? I think we've got to be way over 3 hours, right? Almost. About 3 hours and 3 minutes. Okay, we did get right there. But anyways, thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys helping get to the goal tonight. Got there. Got 9 new channel members. Got to the goal. Yeah, moving forward through the month. I guess we'll see what's going on. I'm going to keep trying to make videos, though. About the only way to make it. So, again, thanks for being here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Well, thanks. I'm glad you liked the live, Ruthie. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. Come back again sometime, would you? I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector or the rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. I gotta get that old guy to do the dance. Is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector, full reflector, interceptor. I don't need another spectre with a vector on his vector with always picture. Just remember, I have a temper fucking picture. I have no agenda. I'm no pretender, and I'll send it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal the true offender. Georgina Stoliker! Hey, I like Georgina Stoliker. Let's get right back to work. You like Georgina Stoliker? Yeah, I do like Georgina Stoliker. What's wrong with liking Georgina Stoliker? There's nothing wrong with liking Georgina Stoliker. I always like saying that name. Georgina Stoliker. It sounds like on the back in the day, Soccer Made in Germany. Like she'd be one of the players. Georgina Stoliker. It's in the back of the net. Oh yeah, Georgie. That was Toby Charles from. He used to do a show called Soccer Made in Germany. It was like on Channel 10 in 1976, and he would be like this. He'd go, hello there, and welcome from the Centenario Stadium in Montevideo, in front of this huge crowd of well over 100,000. Yeah, I wonder if he's still out there. Let me hear it. Let me see if I can find a clip from him. I'll let you hear what he sounds like. People are starting to post old videos that he did. Toby Charles. There it is. Soccer Made in Germany. That's hilarious. All right, here we go. Let's see.
But gradually Cologne...
See, that's what he sounds like. Gradually Cologne.
Started coming into the game more. They got rid of their early nerves.
Look at this shit. This is
Started
sweet.
controlling players. We know they can do.
Look at that. That was it.
The pass.
Oh,
from
there's
Strack
Steve
to
McCall.
Floor. Cologne captain. Look at that track. An absolute rocket. Heinz Floor, the Cologne captain.
That's right. It's Georgina Stolnica in the back of the net. What a goal that was by Georgina Stolnica. All right. All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right, you guys. We'll see you later. And as I always say, until next time. That's what he would say. It's in the back of the net. What a goal that was by little Pierre Litbarski. Yeah, it was awesome. It was just the highlights from Germany. And sometimes then there's this other guy that did. It was Mario Machado or somebody would do the British All-Star Soccer competitive show. Anyways, all right. Thanks, everybody. Absolutely boring as hell, but I loved it. I bet to you guys, my God. 1976. You do a great drunken impression. I'm not a fan nor patient with drunken behavior. I don't even know what that means, man. I have no idea. All right, see you guys later. I think I've already done the music and everything, but see ya. I'll put this on the screen. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button.